Hit it.
All right, we are live with Some Songs interviews. I'm here with LA-based musician Ben Kernian from the band Sonic Acrylic. Ben, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure, Marco. How's it going?
I'm doing well. Trying to stay sane here. How are you holding up in the quarantine?
I'm doing pretty good. Same type of deal. I'm staying same just by creating shit all the time.
What have you been creating?
I've been making lots and lots of music, and I've been creating video content for YouTube, and yeah, just doing really whatever I want to do in the moment. It's actually nice as a musician, an artist, to be a little bit freer to kind of lay back and just create stuff. So I do miss being outside, but other than that, I'm actually pretty happy here.
That's interesting because basically we're being confined right now, but you're saying you feel free?
I do. Yeah, I feel very free. Actually, yeah, freer and freer the more internally that I get to go.
Nice. So what kind of content have you been creating with all this freedom?
Uh, I've been making a YouTube show called the Six String Meditation, where I write riffs and then I record them quickly on audio and video, and I put them on my website to sonicacrylic.com/riffs for people to download and use for projects of their own. It's made just in the spirit of collaboration to see if people make anything cool out of riffs that would just, I make all these riffs anyway. Might as well put them out there for people to use if I'm not going to use them.
All right, so anyone's free to just use as they like and sample it or do as they wish with the audio.
Exactly. It's very encouraged.
What's it
I would
called?
love to see
What's it called again? The
what
series?
it's called. Six String Meditation. It's on my YouTube channel. That's the Sonic Acrylic YouTube channel.
All right, cool.
Yeah. I may end up using some of the riffs still, but yeah, it's just I want to see if people create something cool. I have a feeling that if somebody picks some of these riffs, they can do some really interesting things with them.
Very cool. Great initiative for other artists and anyone out there trying to play around with some sounds. So,
Oh
your
yeah.
latest album, Alternates, came out last October.
Yes.
What is
Yep.
it? What is this album about?
This album is about the question of if our egos really exist or not, and within that, there's true importance to the everyday minutia that we get drawn into, say political and personal storylines like what's on the news, what's going on in your personal life, versus what the outside force that binds us all. Like really, it's like looking at going from a super large scope of being connected by love completely to where we don't really have we're not really individuals, to the most the most individualized type of existence where you're just thinking about your personal politics and personal relationships and how those things interact with each other.
Okay. And
Yeah.
do you think how those have interacted with each other? Do you think that's changed over the last few years, and that's what impacted you particularly for alternates?
Yeah. Well, I would say uh, something like so. I would say around 4 years ago, I started to develop a mindset where uh, I realized that internally I'd always felt that I didn't really fit into society, but I also felt that society actually was in a way determining uh, my value, or had a stake in determining people's values in general. And when I flipped the switch to realizing that um, the true everybody's true nature is just absolutely wonderful and beautiful. Like, and to be to just completely disregard any form of what would be judged as like monetary potential or like even like momentary potential in the machine. Like to judge yourself on that is completely wrong and it doesn't lead to fulfillment. And to just fully embrace the feeling of being yourself plugs you into the actual fucking machine of the universe. And when you fucking completely relinquish to that your true nature, then there's really just no reason to fret over pretty much anything. So yeah, it's definitely been something over the past 4 years that has just become more and more apparent to me. It continues to grow.
Gotcha. And now you've been based in LA for a few years now. Would you say
Mm-hmm.
that's also shaped your beliefs on this as well? Just living in LA?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think you can avoid being influenced by your immediate surroundings. Coming from Pittsburgh, it's definitely whenever you don't have a winter here, like the that affects who you are ultimately. But there's a lot of great people out here, and it's a different type of a vibe from the East for sure.
Are you missing the
I don't
Pittsburgh
know.
winter?
As in what?
Are you missing the Pittsburgh winter?
Oh, I'm missing it so much. No, I mean there are good elements of it. The forced isolation like this we're going through right now, you get it pretty much every winter. Not to the same extent, but still, it's kind of similar, and that can be good creatively. It used to really run my emotions ragged, but I also think that I don't know how. I think I would have maybe found this mindset anyway if I was still back east. I think it's like just a matter of like I always knew all this stuff. It's just like really just understanding it, like seeing it as the truth and fucking and just completely embracing it.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
And then while you were making the album, while you were making alternates, what would you say are kind of the top artists or music you were listening to that pushed this project forward and say maybe inspired you the most?
Yeah. So definitely when I was writing the album, the Mars Volta were my biggest influence, and so yeah, they've had the biggest influence within that time period. I've always been a huge fan of Radiohead and Elliott Smith and Modest Mouse and so I would say those, and then Tame Impala also would be 4 other influences in the writing process that kind of came through. And then as I started getting towards the point where we were going to record it, I was really starting to get into Farley Drop Misty, who I am just such a huge fan of now.
Oh, yeah.
And so he influenced some of the vocal decisions when I was recording the vocals for sure. But yeah, those I would say were the biggest influences on this record.
Very cool. And what would you say is your all-time favorite concert that you attended?
My all-time favorite concert that I attended would have to be. Okay, I'm gonna say Radiohead Coachella 2017.
2017
There was.
Coachella Radiohead.
Yeah, I was very close. I was very elevated, and I was on a cloud for multiple reasons.
All right.
And yeah, that was a pretty life-changing show. But I immediately lost my cell phone after that show. I fell asleep on a hillside and lost my cell phone. So,
but was it worth it for the Tom York performance in Radiohead?
It was worth it. It was worth it. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
And what about some other forms of media, like movies? What would you say are your top 3 favorite movies?
Okay, my top 3 favorite movies I'm going to go with. Number 1, The Matrix, because it's the most honest and true film ever created.
Yep.
Number 2, I'm going to go with American Beauty, because That
Good
shit
film.
just gives me the feels. I love that film a lot. Uh, number three, I'm going to go with. Hmm. This is a tough one because there's a lot of movies within that tier that I could say. Uh, I guess I'll go with. I'm going to say Inherent Vice, Paul Thomas Anderson.
All right.
That film, it's like PTA's. It's like PTA's Big Lebowski. I love it.
Right.
It's a fucking jaunt, and it just keeps you going.
Plus, you got the Johnny Greenwood on the soundtrack. I mean,
That's right.
definitely.
Oh yeah.
All right. So once the quarantine is over, where's the first restaurant that you're gonna go out and eat? What have you been craving in these days? What have you been missing in LA?
Um, First restaurant I'm gonna go to is Panda Express because I really like their food.
Right
Like
on.
it's
What will the order be at
I'm
Panda Express?
a huge chicken fan. You know,
So,
I don't eat out enough to save money. So it's like I don't have any specific place. There are a lot of places I could go, but to be honest, I probably won't immediately spend money on something uh, that's upscale.
right
But
on.
Panda's fucking delicious.
You can't argue with orange chicken. I mean, it's a classic. All right, Ben. So, lastly, what's next for Sonic Acrylic?
Um, what's next is I'm going to continue to put out these 6-string meditations, see what people create with them, uh, and then I have a whole bunch of new music that's going to be coming out here in the next few months.
All
We got
right.
some new music, we got some videos, and yeah, even further, there'll be some other episodic style shows that start showing up on our YouTube channel.
All right.
Different types of themes.
So just cranking out that content in these quarantine days. I love it.
That's right. And into beyond the quarantine days. Content will continue to roll.
Let's keep the content going. All right. Thanks, Ben. Thanks a lot for the interview.